Hey 49ers fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome into our weekly San Francisco 49ers news and rumors video here on Chat Sports. A fresh batch of rumors, actually some juicy ones going on here. But I would argue, a little bit juicier than the ones we had the past couple of weeks. Got some good stuff here. Let's jump right into our latest bit of news. This, of course, starting with wide receiver Dante Pettis. And listen, all the word out of minicamp last week that Dante Pettis is starting to take that next step to becoming possibly a true number one wide receiver. Hey, I don't know. All I'm saying is that we'll go through the list here. A lot of coaches and players are really high on Dante Pettis. So, of course, Shanahan, Garoppolo, the two main characters here who are very, very excited about what they saw from Pettis the past couple of weeks. And, of course, Pettis, again, as we know, is entering his second season as a wide receiver in the NFL. Wide receiver for the San Francisco 49ers. So you look for, all right, rookie last year. Ups and downs, wasn't elite by any sort of standards because he's a rookie, and rookie wide receivers normally aren't that good. What's the step going to be like from year one to year two? Now, here's a quote from Kyle Shanahan, the one that I really liked here. Let's throw it up on the screen. Shanahan said about Dante Pettis, and I quote, "When I saw him the first week, he got back to the size that he had put on. Not that he's going to be real noticeably different to anyone, but he worked while he was gone." He also went on to say he worked while he was away. He tried to get bigger. Also, he said he worked more at his routes and came here with the idea of, hey, I'm not just coming here to get back better in shape. I'm coming here to get better. There are also some other quotes that we don't have here saying that he's running routes a lot better. He's getting in and out of breaks at a speed that Garoppolo was saying, listen, this is going to be really, really hard for defensive backs to defend. So again, Pettis obviously has been working out this offseason. Hopefully it's added a little bit of size to that smaller frame. And the big thing for me, not just the working out, the route running. How much better of a receiver has he gotten? And like we just showed you, Shanahan very high on it, and the Garoppolo quotes, which we don't have on the screen, but they were still there, show that, hey, listen, he's been working, and he's going to be potentially a pretty good wide receiver for the 49ers this year. Now remember, of course, in his career, 27 catches, 467 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Obviously, that's one season, so the stats are not exactly gaudy numbers by any sort of stand. But if he could double that, right? So let's say maybe get to 8 touchdowns, maybe get to 70 to 80 catches and get up there to 1,000 yards. That's a huge jump. Now, I don't know if it's going to be that high, but I like, I want to show you guys, I like what I'm seeing from Dante Pettis in terms of everyone's talking about how, hey, he looked really, really good, which actually quickly, before we move on here, last week we talked about Jordan Matthews. So it looks like the receiving core is getting some high praise. Of course, a core that many of us think, not that great. You got the rookies, you got Matthews, you got Pettis, you got Goodwin, but it's not elite by any sort of standard. It still is looking a lot better than I think a lot of people were thinking. So here's your question. You can always comment down below. Will Dante Pettis be the best receiver on this team? I'm curious what you guys think of Gilmore. Of course, like, there is, Deebo Samuel, there is Jalen Hurd, there is Marquise Goodwin, but I think there's a real case for Dante Pettis to be the best receiver on this team next year, not named George Kittle, right? Let's keep it to receivers. I'm curious what you guys think. Let me know in the comments down below. All right. Normally they say best for last. How about this one at number 2, my juiciest rumor of the day? Could Coach Shanahan, be trying and possibly looking forward to reuniting with his former quarterback, Kirk Cousins? Now again, whoa, this is like, I read this article, like, it broke this past week, and you were like, well, wait a second, this is bizarre. But Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk, who's a very well-known and accredited journalist in the sporting world, went on to his show and mentioned that, hey, the 49ers could be looking to trade for Kirk Cousins next year. Now, Shanahan was Cousins' OC in 2012 with the Raiders. Cousins had a really good year that year, and Florio, he went on to say essentially what could happen is, let's say Cousins has a bad year in 2019, this season, and let's say Garoppolo has a bad 2019. You could see a case, or even with the contracts and everything, a trade could happen where the 49ers could try and trade for Kirk Cousins. Now, I know, right, this is ridiculous. All the people down below are going to say we don't want Kirk Cousins. He's not that great. And again, his career numbers are up on the screen. 34 and 37 and then 2 ties as well. So a losing record. He has a terrible win-loss record against teams above 500. 66% completion percentage, 129 touchdowns since 2020. Right? You throw the numbers out there. Here's the deal. Obviously, this makes no sense right now because we know what we have in Jimmy Garoppolo. What Florio's getting at here, I'll just throw it out to you guys. I'm not saying I agree. But what do we do if Jimmy Garoppolo has a really bad year this year? Right? Let me just that's a question for you guys. A question for me as well. What happens if Jimmy Garoppolo plays 16 games and is bad this year? Does Shanahan sit there and go, hey, listen, if we have a bad quarterback, eventually I'm going to get fired. I want to get my guy. Cousins is my guy. If Cousins has a bad year in Minnesota, maybe he's on the trading block. This is all speculation, but Florio brought this up, and you sit down and you go, well, I mean, technically, what happens if Garoppolo's really bad? Now, again, if Garoppolo gets injured, it's a whole different story, but I'm saying if he plays 16 games and he's the problem, listen, I don't think he's going to be. I think he's going to be really good this year. You've heard me say that many times on this show, but let's just say he is. Could there be a reunion with Cousins and Shanahan in 2020? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I'm curious what you guys think. Now, don't just jump in there. I don't want to see any comments saying, well, Kirk Cousins is a worse quarterback than Jimmy Garoppolo right now. I know. We all agree on that. But here's the question. If Garoppolo has a bad year this year, what would you want to do in 2020 at the quarterback position? Would you be interested in Kirk Cousins? Let me know. This would be the hot topic. Let me know in the comments down below. All right, more news from minicamp. We'll get off the whole future hype train here with Kirk Cousins and Jimmy Garoppolo. Update you on Jason Verrett. Obviously, the 49ers signed him this offseason. Now, again, Jason Verrett coming in injured, as he has not been at he's at minicamp, but he's not participating in any minicamps because he tore his Achilles last year in training camp. Achilles, it's a whole year-long process. Ask Kevin Durant what he's going to go through. So we're a year removed from the Achilles, and training camp's coming up in July, and so Verrett is expected to be a full participant in training camp. He told, I believe it was NBC Sports Bay Area, we'll throw the quote up here right now, quote, I'm going to be ready. That's my main focus. It's just worrying about what I can control, and I'm excited to be getting ready for training camp. My health is pretty much everything, and I'm on track to be exactly where I want to be. The day I get on that football field, they're going to like what they see. Now listen, I like what I hear in terms of that quote right there. He should be healthy going forward, but again, I will just say this. Achilles injuries are tough to come back from. You look at Richard Sherman last year, comes back from the Achilles. You sit there and you go, what was it, 70% of his normal self, 80% of his normal self? We'll see what he is here in year 2. The same can be said about Verrett. Here's the big stats. We should throw his career stats on the screen in front of you. 25 games he's played in 4 seasons. Like one season, 2015 was his best year. He played like 14 games, 3 interceptions, and 42 solo tackles. So health's a big concern for a guy that we expect to play a lot in the secondary. The good news right now, it's all trending up. He should be good to go for training camp, and the health looks very good, but it is, for me, a little bit concerning going forward, going, hey, a lot of injuries in that past. Achilles is hard to come back from. I hope for our sake and for his sake, he should be good to go. All right, let's talk about the 49ers quarterback situation here, because we get closer and closer to training camp. It means closer and closer to possibly deciding who will be the number 2 quarterback on this roster. Now, again, the Niners have 3 quarterbacks on the roster. You're talking about Mullens, talking about Beathard, talking about Jimmy Garoppolo. So will they keep 3? What are they going to do in terms of this? So Garoppolo, obviously, we said it before, will be 100% healthy by training camp. He did all the participation in minicamp except for 11 on 11, so he should be good to go. And now the competition for the quarterback, or the backup quarterback spot, is going to start to heat up here when we get to training camp, and technically has been going at minicamp, but training camp's where they're going to figure this out. So I will present to you the 3 options the Niners have at quarterback this year in terms of the backup quarterback, because obviously Garoppolo, barring some sort of injury setback, knock on wood, will be number 1. So at number 2, you can either cut CJ Beathard or Nick Mullens, so cut one of them and then keep the other. You could technically keep all 3 quarterbacks on the 53-man roster. No one's saying you can't, although I would argue you sit there and you go, listen, we're going to need to keep extra receivers. I'd rather keep an extra receiver, maybe an extra cornerback, and let's not keep 3. That's option number 2. And option number 3 is to trade Beathard or Nick Mullens. So you sit here and you go, which is most likely? I would say the trade is most likely, but don't rule out them cutting one of them, because again, for a trade to happen, a quarterback position in the NFL has to open up, which means at some point during training camp, or technically the preseason, someone's got to have a quarterback go down. We never wish that for any quarterback in the NFL, regardless of what team they play for, but that has to happen first. If we get deep into training camp and it's clear that Mullens is better than Beathard or Beathard's better than Mullens, I put my money on Mullens, just saying, then I think there could be a chance where they go, hey, no one wants to trade for him, we can't get anything for him, let's just go ahead and cut him. And again, you say, well, wait, let's trade. What are you going to get for CJ Beathard, right? Like a 7th-round draft pick? A 6th-round draft pick? Is someone going to give you a 5th-round draft pick for Nick Mullens? Because, I mean, I would, or Beathard or Mullens, I would do it for a 5th. That'd be like a steal for me, but I don't think you're going to get much better than that. So, again, I don't see them keeping 3. I see them cutting one of them when we get to training camp, barring a big quarterback injury. I'm curious You guys have done this before. I think you guys lead towards Mullens, but I want to gauge the audience again here. If you got your choice of who would be quarterback number 2, backing up Garoppolo, Mullens or Beathard, who would you guys like? Go down below, comment, let me know. I'm always curious just to gauge where the fan base's head is at, and I think I know where you guys are going to vote, but of course, let me know in the comments down below. Finally, all right, final headline here, an update on you guys for Robbie Gould. Again, remember what's going on with Robbie Gould? I keep hearing his name in the news. What's he doing? So Robbie Gould obviously was franchise tagged by the Niners this offseason. He has not signed that franchise tag, so he's technically unsigned by the 49ers, right? How that technically works. He did not report to mandatory minicamp. He wants a long-term deal, and he really wants to either get the long-term deal in San Francisco, or he wants to go back to the Midwest, aka like Chicago, who actually technically needs a kicker right now after the Cody Parkey playoff double doink debacle, whatever. Anyway, Gould is holding out right now, and the question is when's he going to sign? Because again, you got to sign that franchise tag, here sometime here in July. So will he sign a 1-year deal, or is he just going to sit there and go, hey, listen, I was one of the best kickers last year. We can throw the numbers up to prove it, right? 20 to 40 yards last year, perfect. He had 1 miss all season between 40 and 49 yards, 2 for 2, 50 plus, and then missed 2 extra points in terms of 27 for 29 from the extra point range. He's fantastic, right? That's elite kicker status, like hit 97% of all of his field goals. The 49ers, for me, I want to sign him. We have the extra cap space because, of course, we didn't spend it all in free agency. What are we waiting on? Unless Gould is sitting there going, hey, I want a ridiculous amount of money, and I understand that. To me, this makes no sense. I'm all for signing Robbie Gould to a long-term deal. He proved it last year. He's really, really good. I guess we're going to have a holdout. It's always weird. It's like your kicker is holding out. Normally, it's like your star defensive tackle or your star wide receiver, or your star quarterback, whatever. No, it is going to be Robbie Gould holding out, and they're either going to sign him, or I think he's going to get moved somewhere, like he says, in the Midwest where he wants to go. I don't know. We'll just sit here and see, but I wanted to update you guys there on the kicking situation here in San Francisco. There we go. That's it. That is all of our rumors for today. Got some good ones here. Really go down to those comments. I asked the questions. I want to see the comments down below. I always read those as usual. Again, for Chat Sports, I'm Thomas Mott signing off. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day.